come so seldom. That has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Running back to the edge of my life. Jesus saved me a time. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Running fast for the edge of my life. Jesus saved me a time. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Running fast for the edge of my life. Jesus saved me a time. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Running fast for the edge of my life. Jesus saved me a time. Jesus saved me a time. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Running fast for the edge of my life. Jesus saved me a time. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Running fast for the edge of my life. Jesus saved me a time. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Happiness comes. That has come to me. Running fast for the edge of my life. Jesus saved me a time. Running fast for the edge of my life. Jesus saved me a time. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. It is here in the Father's kingdom. It was there for me. You took me. And you washed away my sins. You washed away my sins.
You ready? You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, theys, and gays. This is The Real Pineapple. This is your humble host, Hunter, here. Hello. Happy Saturday. Saturday to y'all. I hope you're safe. I hope you're well. So, I'm going to try to not make this review too long because I totally forgot that there are playoff games on today and I want to watch some football. So, I will make this kind of quick. This is a review for The Brutalist, which is directed by Brady Corbett, who went ahead and did. Oh yeah, he was in. Okay, yeah, okay. So he's done a few things. He's directed a few things, including the Crowded Room, a couple episodes of that. The Amanda Seyfried, Tom Holland miniseries on Apple TV. He went ahead and directed Vox Lux, which I actually really liked. The Natalie Portman pop star film with her and Jude Law. Yeah, I actually like that flick quite a bit. But this film is really being heralded as the next great American dream saga. And of course, we go ahead and we have Adrian Brody in here, who of course you know from The Pianist, Grand Budapest Hotel, Midnight in Paris, Detachment, Winning Time. Really is one of the best actors in the game right now. So the story as follows is it's about Adrian Brody's Laszlo Toth, I think is how you say it. And just to get out of the way, this film is long. This is a long movie. This is including intermission. It is 3 hours and 35 fucking minutes. It is a long movie. Did I mention that this is a long movie? And here's the thing, y'all. And I think I can say this confidently after 11 years doing the podcast. It'll be 11 years as of April. So basically like 3 months from now, almost to the day. It'll be 11 years. But after doing this for so long, y'all, I'm just realizing the gaslighting is very real when it comes to award season, because everyone I've talked, not everyone, several people I've talked to have been like, dude, this is your number one, right? Like, this is like the best movie of the year, like by far. Like, how could it be anything else? And I had these same conversations when Oppenheimer came out last year. And I remember just thinking, all right, like, I'm happy you dug it, but is this my best of the year? Nah, like Oppenheimer didn't crack my top 20 last year. And I actually saw more films this year than I saw last year. And I can confidently say there are some great moments in The Brutalist. There are some fantastic moments in this. This is, you know what? I won't even go that far. The cinematography in here is fucking fantastic. It is fantastic. I think it's being presented in 70 millimeter, I believe is what's being shown in most theaters. But I love the cinematography in this. I think the score for the film is I think the score is fucking fantastic. The score was done by Daniel Blumberg, who's gone ahead and done who went ahead and did The World to Come. Well, that the music in there is actually really great as well. But he killed it. He absolutely killed it with the music here. I think the cinematography here by Lowell Crawley is what I'm gonna go with. They also went ahead and did the cinematography for White Noise, Ballast, 45 Years. Devil All the Time. Okay. They also did the cinematography for Vox Lux, so they've worked together before. But I absolutely love the cinematography in here. And the performances. I think the performances of Adrian Brody is great in this. He's absolutely fantastic. But I guess what I would say is him kind of going back to this like this immigrant well. It definitely feels like a remix. Like we've seen it before, and I'm not to say that's not great, but we've seen it. We have seen it before. I do think someone that is getting, I think, completely shafted in terms of like their performances being talked up are Guy Pearce and Felicity Jones, and I will get to them in a moment. But the movie, we go ahead and we follow Laszlo, who is a Holocaust survivor. He ends up getting separated from his wife, played by Felicity Jones. Ends up getting separated from her and then his orphan niece. I like what we kind of find out about the niece later on, but I won't spoil that. And he's able to go ahead and immigrate to America. I One of my favorite scenes in the movie, and it's actually kind of early on, is when he's able to go ahead and get away. And I think the actual opening sequence of which it like shows him getting away and trying to get to America. I think the camera work on that is fucking pristine. I absolutely love the way that shot. I think most of the film is shot really well, except there's one scene that kind of took me out of it, but I'll get to that in a moment. But he's able to go ahead and get to Philadelphia, and he's going ahead and he's staying with his relatives while he is going ahead and looking for work. So he ends up working with his cousin at this furniture business, and they are recruited to go ahead and work for Harrison Lee Van Buren. I know, white ass name, but they're recruited by his son, Harry, who's played by Joe Alwyn, who he looked familiar. And I was sitting here, I'm like, why do I recognize this fucker? And it's because he was in The Favorite. He's Masham in The Favorite, and then he was in Mary Queen of Scots. Really good year for him too, 2018. But yeah, I was like, oh, that's cool, and he's fantastic in here, playing very much that young typhoon type with a very rich dad who's trying to live up to his example. Which there's yeah, I'll come back to that. But I actually really loved him in this, and so he ends up hiring them to go ahead and basically redo this room, making to a library for his dad. But his son is just a dummy. Like he's a fucking dummy, and he doesn't get how this shit works. And so because of his error, the dad comes home. Harrison comes home early, sees Laszlo and his cousin, and flips his shit and just like, get the fuck out of here. I'm not paying you for shit. Fires them. Says that just says all this shit, sacks them, doesn't pay them for shit. And then when Laszlo goes ahead and gets back, he is told that he made a pass at Attila's wife, and then he's kicked out. And I was just like, oh wow, well fuck Laszlo. Right? It's really quite a dark opening, and I think what I really dig about this movie is that it is that American dream talk in terms of what we tell the royal we, in terms of, oh, if you work hard and you just try hard, it'll all work out. Doesn't matter what you look like. And unfortunately, we know that is complete and total bullshit. And the movie is almost in that juxtaposition where it's kind of going back and forth and making you almost second guess yourself in terms of, oh, is this true or is this not true? And then the film actually kind of basically asks you at the very end of it what side of the fence you kind of land on. Here's what I'll say. I get why people like this movie. I honestly do. But this is one of those films that feels like Oscar bait. It feels like Oscar bait to the highest upteenth degree. And here's what I will say too. In terms of the director, he came out with this quote. I want to make sure I'm quoting him correctly. So let me just make sure I can find the quote here. So okay, here we go. So he said, so Corbett said that he doesn't understand why superhero films are allowed to be 3 hours long, but dramas for adults are expected to be 90 minutes or less. No one's saying that shit, dude. Okay, and this is where the gaslighting just really does piss me off, because it's always superhero movies. It's always superhero movies that have to take the brunt of it. It's not the fact that maybe people are making shitty dramas or making bad rom-coms or whatever. It's always superhero films. It's always superhero films that have to be, um, that have to go ahead and take the shit and take the brunts. It's really fucking frustrating, and I'm to be real, I'm really fucking over it to be honest. So because if I am anything, I'm anything but thorough. Here are, I'm gonna go through these just to hammer it home. Here are the runtimes for the MCU films recently. So I will just take phase 4. Black Widow, 2 hours 14 minutes. Shang-Chi and the Legend of 10 Rings, 2 hours 12 minutes. Eternals, 2 hours 36 minutes. Spider-Man No Way Home, 2 hours 28 minutes. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, 2 hours 6 minutes. Thor: Love and Thunder, hour 59. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, 2 hours 41. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, 2 hours 5 minutes. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, 2 hours 29 minutes. The Marvels, 1 hour 45. I'm sorry, people. Like, out, most of the MCU, the average runtime is 2 hours 12 minutes. Where the fuck are you seeing 3 hours, dude? No, I don't want to hear that shit. Not every film needs to be 3 goddamn hours. And that is where this whole American epic thing is really pissing me off, because what you're telling audiences and what you're telling voters and people who watch the Oscars and actually track this shit, like yours truly, is if you're not over 3 hours, you ain't shit. And and that narrative is not only toxic, but it's fucking problematic, and you're negating so many films by doing that. And it's that shit, it's that pretentiousness that really does piss me off. Say what you will about Oppenheimer, I was not crazy about Oppenheimer, but I still enjoyed quite a bit of it to go ahead and give it a B+. I think it's more than fair. And Oppenheimer's what, 3 hours? It's like 3 hours. This is longer than Oppenheimer, and honestly, Oppenheimer, I think, has a definitive end. For this film, where it ends up, I just there's too much implied for me, and that's actually what kind of bothers me the most. So there is, I like the first half, I will say, better than the second half for me, even though there's an element that's introduced that I think enhances uh, the back half. Guy Pearce, as I mentioned earlier, he has this incredible conversation with Laszlo during this dinner party. So they kind of have like a dinner party conversation where it's them at this table, and then he ends up kind of taking Laszlo's side, does Harrison, and he explains to him like why he goes ahead and basically recruits him to go ahead and build this new project that he has in mind. This grand, like, this grand complex, this grand theater. I won't get much more into it besides that, but the project is very ambitious, is what I'll say. But he goes ahead and he recruits him, and he asks him the why. And it's very interesting because Harrison asks Laszlo, like, why architecture? Why is it something that fascinates you so much? And the response that Laszlo gives is some of my favorite dialogue in a film all year. It's such a perfect fucking response that I actually paused the movie and I was like, wow, Adrian Brody nailed that shit. And then he kind of flips it back on Guy Pearce's Harrison and kind of asks him, why are you so invested in this project? And he goes ahead and explains to him why. And it's in that moment for me that I went, uh-oh. Because his response is one of those responses where you're like, oh, that's almost too, like, ooh, there's some darkness in that answer. And without spoiling anything, there's something that happens in the back half of the film that genuinely took me out of the film. It's a scene that I think it's shot very poorly. I think it's a scene that, given what occurs, the moment isn't really allowed any time to breathe. And I think it's done way too much as a flippant thing, given the gravity of what occurs. And it really just, I didn't like it at all. And I get why it's there, and I get why this thing occurs, but it's one of those things that I just went, ugh. And I think it's handled in such a, like, all right, that's here. All right, let's move on sort of way that I didn't like it. And I actually think the epilogue, because there's an epilogue in this film, I think it actually I it's too, yeah, the ending for me is not definitive enough. I think if you're gonna make me sit through an over 3 hour long fucking film, you need to have more of a definitive ending. Like, that's something about Oppenheimer that I actually really appreciate, is that there is a true ending to Oppenheimer. I think with this, I think it's a very kind of like, what do you think? It's like, no, 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 don't do that shit. It's like, no, give me something definitive. You made me sit through this whole fucking movie. I want something. Fuck that. I've earned something definitive. And I really I didn't like that. And it's very frustrating to me, because I think while I don't like the back half as much as the first half, there's some shit in the last hour that I thought was fucking amazing. There is a scene that Felicity Jones has at dinner, and I won't say anything else, but that scene alone damn near steals the whole movie. She's fantastic in this, and I really think that she is getting, like, everyone's talking about Adrian Brody and Guy Pearce, and rightfully so, they're great. But Felicity Jones, between Rogue One, between, between this, between The Midnight Sky, between um uh God, I'm blanking on, so that's all I can think of off the top of my head. But she's a hell of an actress. And if there is anything I can say, I do hope that she gets more shine and dramatic stuff going forward, because I think she's amazing in this. I think she deserves a chance. I think she deserves her own vehicle to really go ahead and be able to show people what she can do. But I'd be lying if I said that there weren't things in this that just really just took me out of it. Um, I do think this is too long, and like, I will stand by that. When I think about things like There Will Be Blood, and oh my god, Gangs of New York, those are films that are in like that 2.5 hour, 2 hour 45 minute range. And I think this being at 2:45, 2:50, I think would have been perfect. I think you could tell this story very effectively, and I think it's paced better if you tell it at a runtime of 2 hours 45 minutes. Um, and I already know what people are going to say. Some people are going to be like, "Well, this movie isn't for modern audiences, and it's for real movie watchers." Like, all those pretentious ass things that you always hear when people want to criticize runtimes. But straight up, the runtime is an issue here for me. Um, yeah, I really thought that this was self-indulgent to a point that it felt like, oh, we want to get Oscar buzz, so let's make sure that this runtime is longer, so that people are forced to be like, well, this is doing what other films aren't doing. Um, it's so funny to me too, because I think about a movie like Minari, and Minari gets its point across about the American dream and about being an immigrant, and trying to be the best version of yourself. That movie's 2 hours. Like, it's it's almost half the time of this fucking movie, and it's just as effective, if not more so, because you're able to be more engaged because it's shorter. I really think cutting this down to 2 hours 45 would have really benefited the film a lot. I think the film would have flowed better, if it went ahead and did that. One person I have not talked about yet, is Laszlo's friend, when he goes ahead and gets here, in Gordon, who's played by Isaac Day Bacoli, is what I'm gonna go with. You've seen him in quite a few things, including Skeleton Key, Night on Earth, Casino Royale, Godfather of Harlem, just to name a few. But I really enjoyed him in this. It's a quiet performance, but I think it's one of those performances people are gonna see and be like, "Oh shit, I really liked him in this." So just, yeah, keep an eye out for him. I really liked him in this. But this is a really interesting story about the American dream. It's an interesting story about quiet racism too, because and the way that I think a lot of people, in positions of power, people privileged, go ahead and tell themselves that they're doing enough. Like, oh, I hired one person who's down on their luck to do this thing. Like, I'm such a good person. Like, it gets into those dynamics and the social dynamics, and about potentially losing your heritage in order to chase the American dream. And can you chase the American dream while still maintaining what your heritage is? And it there's a lot of interesting questions I think this film does ask. I just wish that the way in which the film kind of presented these questions and goes ahead and goes about answering them was more engaging all the way through. So getting to my final thoughts, I will simply say, right now this isn't in my top 10. I have like 5 or 6 other films I really want to watch. I don't see this making my top 10. It will be a nice honorable mention. I'll definitely talk about this on my honorable mention podcast, because which will be next week, by the way. But I I'm frustrated because I know that there's gonna be some people like this will work for the most pretentious letterbox user. Like, this is like that is who this will work for. Like, I could already picture some people, and I was right on the people who I thought would give this 5 stars. But again, I'm sick of being gaslight gaslighted, sure, into just saying like, oh, a movie is an absolute epic and an Oscar contender because it has a long run time. No, you need to work. And if you're gonna ask superhero films to be better and work harder, and like, why are these get a pass? Same thing with fucking Oscar films. Just because a movie is 3 hours doesn't mean it's good or that it deserves a fucking Oscar nomination. And I'll be the first to tell you right now, the, Adrian Brody is not better than Colin Domingo and Sing Street, or Sing Sing. Sing Street is great too, though. He's not better than him. Gosh, I'm trying to think of other Oscar movies I've seen. Um, but yeah, like I don't think I'd put him above Daniel Craig and Queer. I think they're about on the same wavelength in terms of that. Um, yeah, I think this is a very good film with some great elements, but the cohesion doesn't form to make a great film. It's a very good film, but yeah. So I'm like, an A minus almost seems too high, but I'm gonna hesitantly give this an A minus. It's right on the B plus A minus cusp, but I'm gonna go A minus on this because I do think that the the score and the cinematography, a lot of the technical elements, um, very similar again to Oppenheimer, really me, and I do think Adrian Brody is fantastic in this at points. I think Guy Pearce, like, goddamn, Guy Pearce is so goddamn great in this movie. But I do think I think the back half is weaker than the front half, and just kind of the lack of resolution on some things that the film presents really did irk me. So yeah, I'm gonna, you know what? Do I now I'm thinking about B plus. I gave Oppenheimer, yeah, because I think I do like Oppenheimer more. Yeah, I'm gonna go B plus on this. Like, yeah, yeah, I can't go A minus. B plus. B plus is fair for this. So yeah, a B plus for the Brutalist. Like I said, I would say, if you are someone who's comfortable sitting in a theater for 3.5 hours and that doesn't phase you anyway, I'd say go see this in theaters. Check this out at like an early matinee. Check this out like at 9-10 a.m. Get out by like 1:30, 1:40, and go grab some lunch afterwards. But if you're someone who doesn't enjoy sitting in a theater for that long, even with the intermission, I'd say wait for this to hit VOD. It'll probably hit VOD in like a month, considering Oscars are around the corner. So yeah, but Yeah, B plus for me for The Brutalist. Like I said, it's still a very well done film at the bare minimum from a technical perspective, and there is some great acting happening in here. But yeah, I think for me it is still just a B plus. So yeah, a B plus for The Brutalist. So The Brutalist, have y'all seen it? What'd you think about it? Let me know in the comments. Uh, as far as streaming, as far as streaming, I'm going to have let's see here. Um, yeah, I got a couple things for next week. I'm gonna be going ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and stream it next Saturday. I'm gonna be doing. I've never done this on the podcast before, but there's too much great film that won't crack my top 10, but that I want to be able to celebrate. So I'll be doing an honorable mentions podcast next week. Real excited to bring that to y'all because I'm excited to talk about some movies that y'all need to check out that may not be on your radar before we get to the big one, until we get to the best and worst of, which I will be doing on the 25th of this month. So I will keep y'all updated on I will be uh, when I will be doing that stream. But yeah, so next week I will be doing that honorable mentions podcast. I'll keep y'all updated on the time. And then what else am I doing next week? I know I had another couple things I was gonna go ahead and stream. I could have sworn. Oh yeah, so next week I am gonna get back to my my AEW Dynamite stream. I will be going ahead and doing that on Wednesday. Furthermore, on the 13th, so that would be Monday, I'll be doing my top 10 things, my top 10 MCU wish list. I keep talking about doing this, and god damn it, I'm finally going to I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Yeah, so I'll be doing that at 2 p.m. Pacific. Top 10 things I want to see in the MCU post Secret Wars. So that's a second Avengers film. So I will be doing that stream. And then what else? The 17th, as I mentioned. So actually, no, 17th. Oh no, 18th. 18th, I will do my most oh no, my bad. Sorry, y'all. The 17th, that's next this Friday at 5 p.m., 8 p.m. Eastern. I will be doing my top 10 most anticipated films of 2025. I'm excited to bring that to y'all. And okay, so I had Zarel ask here in the chat. What's up, Zarel? Did Adrian Brody deserve the Golden Globe for Best Actor? I'm actually blanking on what on who else he was against. So let me look that up real quick. So yeah, it's a Brutalist one, Best Motion Picture, Drama. Beat Doom Part 2 and Nickel Boys. Yeah, I don't agree with that. Let me see. Best Motion Picture, Best Performance by Male Actor, Drama. There we go. No, he did not. Not better than The Pianist. No, it's not better than that. I haven't seen The Complete Unknown yet, so I can't comment on that. But it's not better than Sing Sing. Like he's not better than Coleman Domingo. He is fucking not. Like, sorry y'all. Like I know some people go like, of course Hunter thinks that, but no, he is not better. He may not be better than Daniel Craig and Queer. Like I would need to actually think about that for a second, but is he better than Daniel Craig and Queer? Daniel Craig is amazing in Queer. I'll say they're tied for now. I haven't seen Conclave yet, and I am not watching The Apprentice. I'm not watching more Trump shit than I need to. But he's not better than Coleman Domingo and Sing Sing for me. I think Sing Sing is fantastic, and Sing Sing gets together its message in a much shorter runtime. One thing I will give the Brutalist credit for though is it was $10 million. The budget was 10 million. I have no idea how the fuck they pulled this budget together for 10 million and made it look like this for 10 million. So, I mean, if anything, Hollywood, that's your message right there, that you can make films that look this great and not have to spend, $250 million. So yeah, but it's a B plus, y'all. Like I said, it's a very good film. And if people, I just, what up, Afternoon Tune? Yeah, it just, it's good. It's good. It's a very good film. It's just not a great one for me. So yeah, but just to run it back real quick one more time, Monday I will be doing my top 10, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. I'll be doing my top 10 things I want to see in the MCU post Secret Wars, Avengers Secret Wars. Next Friday, I will be doing my top 10 most anticipated films of 2025 at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And then next Saturday, I will be doing at, we'll do it at 2 p.m. We'll say 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern next Saturday. I'll be doing my honorable mentions podcast. So, yeah, so I really enjoyed it. And that's the thing. Brody is great in pockets in this. Like, that's the thing. Like, I'm not sitting here like shitting on his performance. I think he is very good in the role and even great at points. I think his portrayal is heartbreaking, and I think he gets an added element once Felicity Jones is brought into the fold. But I was never captivated like I was with I was never captivated the way I was with Coleman Domingo in Sing Sing, at least not on that level. I was never captivated to that degree. I wasn't captivated in the way that I was captivated by. Actually, okay, maybe a hot take, and he's not even like the main actor, but I think Aaron Taylor Johnson in Nosferatu is just as great in his own way as Brody is in here. And I would honestly, I take Hugh Grant. I take Hugh Grant's performance in Heretic over Adrian Brody's in here. So, but yeah, y'all. So those are the streams coming up. I will make sure those are posted on my Twitch and on my socials. But speaking of my socials, go ahead and follow me on Letterboxd at Black Shazam. Go ahead and follow the pod pretty much wherever you listen to podcasts. SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts. I almost said iCloud. That's not right. SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, TuneUp, Samsung Podcast, just to name a few. You can go ahead and find the show on YouTube at The Real Pineapple. That's REEL Pineapple. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok for now at jhunterreelpineapple. That's jhunter, REEL Pineapple. And then you can follow me on Blue Sky at realpineapple.bsky.social. As far as what's coming up, tomorrow I'll have my review up for The Last Showgirl. That'll be up tomorrow. And then I don't know what I'm going to review next week. I'll figure that out. Oh yeah, I'll have my review up for Sonic 3, and my review for Knuckles, the TV miniseries, up early this upcoming week. So yeah, got more stuff coming down the pipeline for y'all. But the reviews for all the Oscar stuff, I'm going to start spacing those out. So expect a review for Queer here soon. I am going to hold off on my review of Sing Sing until Black History Month. That's going to kick off the Black Cinema Showcase, which I actually figured out what I'm going to be reviewing for the Black Cinema Showcase. So I will be revealing that here probably on the 25th. Probably review that, reveal what's going to be reviewed for the month of February, along with the best and worst stuff. So yeah, y'all, lots of stuff coming on the pipelines for y'all. But thank you so much for everyone who tuned in. I appreciate it. To all my friends, the people I've interviewed, my family who's out in California, who's in Southern California, please stay safe out there, y'all. These fires are fucking nuts, man. So if you can donate, please go ahead and just you can just Google like how to help. Like they're taking food and clothing donations and all these things. So please look up if you're able to help out. Please help out if you can. prayers up for California, prayers up for Los Angeles. But please stay safe out there, people. Take care of each other. Give someone a hug. Give someone a compliment. We could all use some more positivity. And never forget, as always, to keep it real. Thank you so much, y'all. And I will talk to you next week. Cheers.